There are a lot of reasons why people get addicted to this fucking game. Everything from its infinite nature, hijacking your thinking patterns, to esports. Riot is getting better and better at grabbing you by the balls and having you spend more and more of your time and mental faculty addicted to this game. In this week of Raybees' crusade against League of Legends addiction, we're going to discuss another addiction lever that Riot is using to keep your ass addicted. Your own friends. If you guys are new here, my name is Raybees and I help people develop a healthy relationship with video games. Whether it's learning how to climb effectively or limiting the amount of addictive power that video games can have over you, my content is what I wish I would have seen when I first started out in gaming. This video on how chasing social status leads to addiction is part 1 of another series that I have coming out later this week. So if you want the full information on this particular addictive lever that Riot uses, do the usual YouTube stuff and like and subscribe. So when I first started taking the game seriously around the end of Season 5, around the time of the Marksman update, I was struggling in Silver. My mechanics had blossomed at this point. I was like 15, 16 years old, and I could hold my own in 1v1s against players that were way high elo than me. But I had trouble closing out the game once I got ahead. Around this time in high school, every single friend that I had was playing League, and it was quite a huge thing in my social circle. You had people smattered everywhere from low bronze to mid-high diamond. Everyone was vying to climb up the ranks. When we would get together at the lunch table, or simply have downtime in between walking through classes, League would be all we ever talked about. It was simply the most exhilarating thing in our lives, and the fact that we had people that we see every day also engage in the same medium that we did made it even more of a tantalizing social event. Because it was such an omnipresent part of our high school lives, I had every single motivation to improve at the game. Even though it was mostly in jest, I was constantly reminded that I was a silver shitter, and I couldn't find it in me to simply let that slide and focus on other areas of my life. So I toiled away for the entirety of Season 6 to finally hit gold right before the season ended. It was a monumental milestone back in the day, because unlike the participation trophy bullshit of today's league, you only got the Victoria skin if you were gold or higher. I ended up not getting the skin anyway because I was too toxic and I got suspended right before the season ended, but it was still epic. The grueling year of the grind had a happy ending, and I didn't need to be driven by the constant monkey on my back of having to prove myself to my friends. I was in decent standing with them now. I could just take a backseat from ladder climbing and simply enjoy the game. Except we all know that's not how things panned out. Even though I was now on the other side of gold, some of my friends had also made strides within their climbing journey, breaking through to platinum and even diamond. Ironically, even though I had gotten the rank that I wanted to, the distance between some of my friends and I remained the same. In some cases, it had even increased. That's when I realized I wasn't even trying to get gold in the first place. I thought I did, but necessarily. This whole time I was trying to close the gap between them and me on the social ladder, and I hadn't closed the gap on the social ladder. Let's talk a bit more about the social ladder. Now, League is quite hard to play alone. It takes a special kind of psychopathic nerd to sit through this fucking game and endure all of its nonsense by yourself to climb through the ranks all the time. For most people, they were either introduced to the game through their friends and or have friends that play with them on a weekly basis. As much as people would not really see it as such at a first glance, League is really a social game, guys. It's a social experience even. For most people when they're playing, it's usually on a Discord call with the boys laughing and talking about each other's day and complaining about something within the game. We all know it's like a fucking nice feeling to have sometimes. At the end of the week, like towards the weekend, you're just chilling with the boys, right? But here's the thing. Riot is also banking on the fact that it's a social game. That's why they have the rank ladder set up the way they do. It's the perfect way to pit friends against each other and have them compete for who can be the best player within the friend group. Now that type of motivation is extremely powerful, especially for young men with not much priorities in their lives. And it propels them to spend a shit ton of time of immersing themselves within the game and its shoulder content to try and get better. This is what happened to me. Even though I had accomplished my year-long dream of getting gold, I wasn't the top dog, not even close. And a large part of me couldn't stand being in the middle of the food chain. I'll probably cover this in a later video series about self-identity and how it's a cure for addiction and self-sabotage. But I didn't see myself as someone who could be below a bunch of skinny neck, four-eyed nerds on the food chain. It bothered me that I couldn't process the game as fast as them. It bothered me that I couldn't climb through the ranks as fast as them. At this point in my life, League of Legends and gaming as a whole was probably one of the few things in life that I really struggled with. But I was so frustrated at being below people that I thought I was better than that I threw myself into the world of League of Legends, vowing to become diamond so my other accomplishments can match the person I thought I was on the inside. And this went on for years. As you guys know, it took me another 8 years of climbing to fully get to diamond, and by that time that high school friend was obviously no more. Though I was still incredibly satisfied and proud of myself for accomplishing my teenage dream, especially in a domain that I wasn't too talented in, I paid an incredible price in both time and mental investment. If only I was able to bury my teenage dreams, as sad as it sounds, and simply focus on other areas of my life instead, there were so many other avenues my life could have gone down. So, what's the big lesson here? Understand that the game is inherently designed to abuse the human and especially male need for competition and hierarchy. As men, we're hardwired into doggedly chasing after a certain task in order to become really successful at it. We sort of instinctively know that those who get farthest in this race stand to gain the most out of life itself. And the older and older I get, starting to understand the incredible value of status everywhere I go. The mistake that I made in my teens was not only surrounding myself with subpar people, but also keeping up the same twisted notion of equating league rank to status in life, as if life was just one big high school lunch table. It's all I ever cared about when I was in high school, and it's all I kept caring about even after high school was over. Since I didn't update the rubric, I went through the next several years being severely addicted to the game, and I justified it by telling myself that I was undergoing some serious pursuit that would significantly boost my status once I got to that destination. The sad thing was, the window to maximize my status in League of Legends had already passed. We've graduated out of high school, and that friend group was no more for the most part, and I was still here clicking away like a damn monkey trying to get to diamond. Understand that while yes, friends and social circles are important to the human experience, that they'll never take priority over your own goals and ambitions. Learn to value yourself over your friends and get better at really listening to yourself and understand why you're doing something and what's the best you can get out of your efforts. It's easy to gas up our friends because they color our social experience, especially in environments like school where what clique you are part of is a massive part of your daily life. So everything that I'm saying right now probably might fall on deaf ears if you're still in high school or whatever. But I really can't stress this to you guys enough. The friends that you have at best are just regular average people who are just going to live out regular average lives and are not really here to achieve their true potential. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Most likely, you and me are also in the same boat. However, since that's the case, there's no reason to gas them up as these deities who you must conform to in order to have a social experience. They might just be people that you play League with. It's similar to how people go out drinking on weekends with their quote-unquote friends, but in reality, they're just drinking buddies that will start to hate you once you tell them you don't want to drink anymore. And unlike the social act of drinking, there's an impetus in League to actually get good at the game, especially amongst predominantly male and or competitive people. You don't go out drinking to get good at drinking, do you? You're not out there to see who can have the better time. You're not competing with each other like that. That's kind of weird. But in League, it's different. Because of the performative element to the social experience, competitive people are more inclined to invest time to get better at the experience because of the perceived benefits. They've made the mistake of conflating League rank to social status, just like Riot wanted them to. If you're stressed about looking good for your friends and not letting them down because of your League rank, understand that that's not what real friendship looks like. You can still have a great relationship with your friends without letting their expectations of you bury your own interpretations of what it means to enjoy the game. At the end of the day, guys, life is much happier once you start living how you want to live. Either cut off the toxic friend groups or distance yourself from them to temporarily give yourself time to assess what you really enjoy about gaming and why you're still playing it. I have a friend in one of my friend groups that hovers around high bronze to low silver. He's one of the worst players in the friend group, but that doesn't stop him from asking to play it every time. Has he gotten better in the last 2 years I've known him? Hell no. Do you think that stops him from playing and enjoying himself? Hell no. For the people that have made it this far in this video, let me break down the performative elements of League and how we can stop ourselves from getting addicted to the game as a result. Now, League can be a bit weird because unlike some other domains in life, playing League with friends actively reminds you and other people of the perceived status within your friend group. There's always that one guy that carries, one guy that feeds, and all the other motherfuckers in between. There's nothing quite like it. Even when it comes to like stuff like money or women, you can't actively show off how much money you have or how bad your bitch is, quite like how you can show off how good you are at the game. There's such like an active component to showing off that when it comes to like money or women, there's like a passive. You can passively show off your money or your women, but you can't actively show it off. You know what I mean? This active demonstration of your status over your peers is another massive reason why League is a much more dangerous drug to young men who are hardwired to grind for that status. Because the perceived payoff from achieving the status is much higher than most other domains, because you can show it off much better. So, what's the fix for this? First off, understand that even though there's active demonstration, realize that it's still League of Legends and the vast majority of people on this planet aren't gonna give a flying fuck about how good you can play it. Yeah, you can show off your money or mental health quite as well as your League mechanics, but at the end of the day, guys, stuff like money and mental health are much more useful to you in your life than fucking League of Legends. It's important to not fall into the availability bias and not focus on whatever is in front of us like a damn monkey. Use your human brain to project into the future and really ask yourself, what's the benefit here? The second reason why active demonstration is a fluke is because there's a fucking cap on it. This is something that hit me recently, and it's that exercising your dominion over your friend group doesn't doesn't really scale infinitely. There was a week recently where I went on a complete tear in norms with my friends. I was obliterating the competition, laughing my head off, my friends were gassing me up, and then I went to sleep with a smile on my face. And I woke up the next day, obliterated the competition, laughed my head off, my friends gassed me up, and then I went to sleep again with a smile on my face. And I woke up the next day and it happened again and again and again. And that's when I realized something. It took me damn near 12 years to achieve a level of consistency where I can show off to my friend groups. It took hours of painstaking practice, review, and introspection. And while it felt good, I couldn't help but think that it didn't feel as good as it should. Like I wasted a shit ton of time to finally achieve this level, but it didn't quite hit the same as it should have. Surely there has to be more to this, right? You're telling me that I grinded for all these years, got to the promised land, and it just sort of feels like sort of good? Chasing social status within this game isn't exactly all that it's gassed up to be. Once you get to the top of your friend group and start showing off how much better you are than them, the good feeling sort of fades fast, and then you're left questioning why you even struggled this much to get to this point in the first place. Because at the end of the day, guys, gaming in general and like trying to get good at games for the purposes of simply showing off to your friend group and having like chasing the social status is a bit of a vapid goal to have, because it's not like games will never like fulfill you as much as like other things in life will, right? So it's not good to chase it too hard because you'll be left with the same empty feeling that I have. In conclusion, guys, love your friends and cherish them, but be careful about spending too much time on video games to try and prove yourself to them. League, or any other competitive game for that matter, should not be substituted for the pursuit of real life goals that are going to make your living experience better no matter what. Stuff like mental and physical health, money, and women are basic shit, but I can guarantee you that those are the 80-20s to life. Getting better at them is just the fastest way to have a better time living life instead of spending 5 to 7 hours a day clicking in front of a screen like a fucking monkey. We can all get caught up in aiming to please our friends and have them gas us up when we're playing normals games or whatever, but there's more to life than just spamming away just so you can occasionally have other people praise you. Especially in today's meta of league culture, where people are quicker to blame an OP champion than praise a player's skill anyway. There's nothing more pathetic than living for other people's praise, like a dog. So that's it from me in this video, guys. If you guys want more help getting over your own addictive tendencies and develop a better relationship with the game, join my Discord. And remember, although it might seem hard, it's actually quite easy to develop healthy relationships with video games. Follow me and I'll show you how.